my clock, I can't stop. Fuck around, make my 40 pop. No popcorn, I pop pistols. Reaming my body, clothing no issue. Bitch, you look sick, you need a tissue. You drop a body, I just might bless you. I'm metrosexual.
What is going on, guys? It's Wraith here, back with another video. Now, in 2 videos ago, I think I asked what you guys want to see for videos, and I got a good amount of ideas, so I am making one today. And I'm sure you guys can see it from the title, but basically that is how to solo squad. And solo squad is very, very important for just being able to show how good you are. It's a really, really good way of improving, etc., etc. So I'm going to be going over why you should solo squad and how to solo squad, and give you guys some tips to allow you to win more solo squads and get more kills in solo squads. So if you're looking forward to that, make sure you smash the like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you comment what you want to see for a future video. Use creator code WraithFN, you guys already know, and make sure you check out my Twitch in the link description, or you can just look up WraithAM in Twitch. Again, I will be streaming today, probably right after this video airs, and we do Storm Wars, we do squads, we do solos, whatever the case is, or if you just want to come back, chill with the boys a little bit, then by all means do that. So basically, that's it for the intro, and let's get right into today's video. So off the start, I'm basically going to talk about why solo squads are good and why people do it. And the reason people do solo squads is basically it forces you to be aware of more players and deal with more players at once. Instead of just in solos where you can do a fight for 4 or 5 minutes and nothing bad can happen unless you get third partied. Well, solo squads, you can't really do that. If you take on a fight, you're basically fighting 4 kids, right? So you got to learn how to finish a fight quick, how to be precise, hit your shots, because if you don't hit your shots and you miss it, 3 other kids are coming after you when you're after this fight, and you're gonna die, because if you don't kill that first kid right away, you don't kill that second kid, and you miss your shots, and you miss your sniper, you miss your AR shots right off the start, well, then that kind of puts you at a huge disadvantage, right? If you see pro players all the time, every single time they hit their AR shots, they knock one person before they even start engaging in the fight, right? So very, very important to make sure that you know the reason to why you're doing solo squads. And before we get into the tips, a little warning: if you're not good enough, it's not a big deal. Don't push yourself to do solo squads. Do more solos. If you can only get 4 or 5 kills in solos, I recommend doing a little bit more solos until you feel a little bit more confident, your skill goes up a little bit. There's no harm in that. Just keep practicing, and then once you can start dropping 8, 9, 10 kills in solos, like pretty consistently, well, then you can switch over to solo squads a little bit, because it is hard. Solo squads is very difficult to do unless you're an absolute god, or you're just really smart and know when to take fights, etc., etc. But yeah, that's basically it, so let's get right into the tips. So my first tip, that's pretty self-explanatory, is 1, land hot drop, and 2, W key every single time. So for hot drops, what I mean Paradise, Mega Mall, Pleasant, and Neo. Those are the 4 places I always land, and wherever the bus is coming, that's the place I land. Sometimes I'll land Fatal, but not that often. So for example, if the bus is coming over Pleasant first, I'll land there. If the bus is going over Paradise, I'll land there, etc., etc. The reason I do that is because the most amount of people go there, like go off spawn, or not off spawn, go off the first bus. So basically, like I said, if you're going past Pleasant, I guarantee there's probably going to be around 10 to 15 people there. Now obviously there's some anomalies, and sometimes no one will go there and you'll just get unlucky, which in that case, if you're really trying to practice, just leave the match and queue up again. But a lot of the time, the hot drop is where the most amount of people are, and the more amount of people, the more practice you get in fighting the more people. So it's very, very good. You want as many people as you can off the start, as well as, like I said, practice W keying. Don't just go play solo squads, get 4 kills, 5 kills off spawn, wait till end game, and then get 2 or 3 kills and then win the game. That's not the point of solo squads. There's no reason to do that. You may as well just play solos. The whole reason to solo squads is to practice fighting as much as possible and practice fighting more than one person. So W key, kids. If you see someone, try an AR shot them, whatever, get onto a mountain, position yourself well, because normally they'll have at least 2 teammates. It's normally 3 around, I find. You don't find 4 people that often anymore. Well, I don't, at least. But try and W key. You find someone, shoot at them. You see someone in the distance, you see a third party, you W key that. The whole point of solo squads is to get as many fights as you can. And if you're just playing passive, well, then there's not really a point to be doing solo squads. So some tips that you can use to actually help improve your solo squads and not get clapped is, one, try to separate the players you're solo squatting. So for example, if you're fighting a team of 4 and let's say you're doing an off spawn in Paradise, we'll try and fight and kill one kid before the other 3 people even know they're there, or try and AR 2 of them down to like 2 HP before they even know you're there, and try and separate them in a fight. So for example, take them into that big apartment and try and deal with one by one at a time, because if you deal with all 4, you're in serious trouble, right? You need to try and isolate each person, kill them, and then move on to the next, right? Obviously, it's very difficult, especially if they have really good comms and they work together well. But it's hard, I know, but you got to figure out how to isolate the players and try and kill one, then kill the other, etc., etc., instead of all 4 of them coming at you at once, because then you're just going to get outgunned, overpowered, you can't really do anything, right? So my normal, let's say, golden rule is before I engage in a fight, I try my best to get 1 knock. That way I'm only fighting 3 other players, and then 1 person might be reviving, so I've isolated 2 of them already, and I'm only fighting 2. So it gives my odds a little bit better by isolating 1 right off the bat, or even dropping him so low that he's forced to heal, then that isolates him off the bat too, right? So it's very, very important. Try and 1v1 fight them. Don't try and take all 4 of them, because you will get absolutely clapped. Now, this is a very, again, easy tip, but a lot of people kind of forget it. And even I forget it sometimes, is build. Like, obviously, it's a building game. I'm sure you guys are aware of that. But basically, when you're fighting 4 people, if you're just relying on solely your aim, you're not going to do well. Like, if you're not building, you're going to get absolutely clapped, because all 4 of them are just going to spam you, right? And then you're going to have no chance. You're going to die in 0.5 seconds. If you build, you don't have to build fight them, but if you build upwards into a better position, they have to push you. Well, then that gives you a higher advantage. If they build up and you have to push them, that gives them a little bit more of an advantage, right? Because if they have 4 guns spraying at you from different directions, it's kind of hard to push someone, even if you're building, right? So if you build straight up, like 3 1x1s, or someone builds towards you and you cone him, kill him quickly, and then switch on to the next guys, well, then that's going to be way better, right? So build when you get shot at. Don't just try and aim battle them, because if you try and ADS someone, they're going to have 3 other guns shooting at you, and you're just going to get. Now this next tip, and it's a very, very important tip, third party. Third partying in solo squads is so important. If you see 2 squads battling out, again, stay back and try and absolutely destroy them with your AR, your SMG, or your sniper, or whatever you have, grenade launcher, whatever the case is. Try and absolutely clap them, especially in third parties, or even if you feel like it and you want to work on your shotgun more, push up on them, get up close and personal, and try and shotgun, SMG, whatever the case, all the people, and try and get as many kills as you can in that third party. Trust me, it is actually very, very difficult taking a full squad head on, just 1v4. Trust me, I know. And if you watch pro solo squad, even they die sometimes when they take on a squad full on. A lot of the top solo squad kills in the game, or whatever you want to call it, came from third parties, because they're not really focused on you, and then they have to turn around and fight you as well as fighting another squad. So third parties are your best friend, and you want to make sure you're always third partying all the time. And trust me, some of you may say, okay, well, it's not as good practice, they're not aware. I disagree, because you're still practicing your aim, and then they have to focus, turn on you, and then still fight you, and then you have to push in towards them, etc., etc., and it helps your decision making. So trust me, third partying, do it as much as possible. Now the last tip I'm going to give, and this is an important one, is take natural high ground. If you're next to a hill and you see a squad right behind it, build up onto the hill before you shoot them, because that'll give you a higher advantage. Again, like I said, if you take a squad full on and they all end up just spraying you, no matter how much you build, no matter how many mats you have, how good of a builder you are, if they're spraying you with 4 drum guns or 4 SMGs or 2 ARs, 2 drum guns, you're not getting out of there, right? So if you build to the top of the little mountain or to the top of a house, it gives you a way higher advantage point, so they have to push you again, giving you the upper hand, I guess you can say. Plus, they can't spray down your build, so it kind of makes it obsolete how many players there are, and you can just spray them when they're trying to build up to you. So always, especially in solo squads. Solos is obviously still important to take natural high ground, but in solo squads, I guarantee you, taking the natural high ground will help you so much in the long run in the fights, because if, again, taking 4 guys up front, fighting them is not a good way to go. They'll absolutely clap you most of the time. So give yourself a bigger advantage and take the natural high ground. So hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, make sure you smash that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Again, leave a comment for what you want to see for a future video. Make sure you use creator code WraithFN in the item shop, and make sure you check out my stream, Twitch, WraithAM. And yeah, that's basically it for today's video, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.